The new tech of the Anvil engine deserves a moment in the spotlight. After all, on console and PC, this is the first series entry to officially adopt ray tracing, and it has a huge impact on the presentation of its world. For PS5, Series X and S in particular, we get RT global illumination, adding richer, more realistic ambient light bounce and shading. Alas, while ray-traced reflections are also included in shadows, they are reserved for the PC release and PS5 Pro, meaning we resort to the screen space method for reflections on the base consoles. RTGI, though, is in place on all formats, though there is another catch to consider. Specifically, it only engages globally across the entire explorable map on PS5 and Series X using their 30fps quality and 40fps balanced modes. On the 60fps performance mode, however, we switch to Ubisoft's classic baked GI method, as also used in AC Valhalla and Mirage. The exception to this is the hideout area, which enables RTGI regardless of your selected mode, but will also always run at 30 frames per second. As for Xbox Series S, RTGI only appears in this same, very limited capacity in the hideout area, but never beyond it. To show that all-important ray tracing upgrade, let's see Series X in action. For a game with such a diversity in weather states, multiple season changes, plus destructible environments, Shadow's world is more dynamic than any Assassin's Creed game before it. The domino effect being that the real-time ray-traced approach has an advantage in being more adaptable. It better simulates light and shadow interactions across a constantly changing environment, while the older baked GI method of the 60fps performance mode must still rely on pre-calculated lighting states for each season. Outdoors then, the impact is clear to see. The RTGI of the quality mode adds richer, more detailed pockets of shade between objects, like these clay pots, the ox carts, and vegetation. Likewise, you'll notice it in the depth of shading on character faces in daylight, and especially the interiors of shops, where the baked GI method struggles to match up. Finally, you'll also see an all-round improvement in lighting. Diffuse light bounce from nearby coloured scenery has an impact on the world, helping to realistically lighten shaded patches on the ground with an appropriate hue. Ubisoft's classic baked GI method is still respectable, but has clear limitations. Also, sadly, all of these limits apply to the Series S release across the main world in the same manner as the 60fps performance modes on Series X and PS5. It oversaturates certain details with colour in an attempt to match up to the RTGI lighting, while interiors and up-close character detail lack the same shading depth. The other catch is that Series S only runs at 30 frames per second, so there's really no performance upside to missing out here, and it's the worst of both worlds compared to the Series X options. As a kind of consolation, the hideout area, which is a small customizable sandbox that lets us decorate and plant buildings as we like, does engage RTGI on Series S. It's possible to enjoy it there, but for the rest of the game, the reality is that Series S runs at a third of the compute power of the Series X, which has a knock-on effect for its features. It's a huge win for Series X and PS5 then, and while the lack of ray-traced reflections is a shame, the RTGI allows for a much grander payoff for Assassin's Creed Shadow's world design. Another major Anvil engine upgrade is in its physics. Ubisoft's efforts are extensive in this aspect for Shadows, helping to inject some much needed energy into the game's landscapes. Riding to your next mission, you'll spot a procedural weather system called Atmos, generating clouds overhead in a dynamic manner. Paired with that is wind simulation, using fluid dynamics to create everything from light gusts to gales, impacting the forests, cherry blossom petals, and even the direction of rainfall in the process. And to top that off, there's a wider spread use of destruction physics now. In towns, for example, it's possible to smash most objects decorating the market stalls or even slice through fabric, with the tailline matching your katana's arc. Also, another neat touch I noticed is that while sneaking through long grass, each grass blade flattens in a persistent manner as you crawl through. It's all seriously impressive stuff, and makes the world feel more tangible, interactive, to a degree that wasn't possible with the cross-gen Assassin's Creeds before it. Given Shadow's open world is filled with these complex hills, valleys, and large settlements, Ubisoft has gone to great lengths to also optimize its terrain streaming. To that end, a new virtualized geometry system is added to Anvil Engine, similar in principle to Unreal Engine 5's Nanite, allowing geometry across a scene to gradually subdivide into smaller polygonal meshes the further it appears in the distance. It's a cost-saving measure, but one that's seamless, and lets Ubisoft Quebec's artists build out its world without resorting to more obvious LOD steps. All of these technologies are included on PS5 and Series X, alongside the weather and destruction physics, though there is one omission on Series S. A new hair strand physics setting, as seen on PC, enables on PS5 and Series X permanently on their quality and balanced modes. It's a beautiful addition that affects most characters sporting tresses of some kind. Individual strands of hair, like on our shinobi heroine Naoe, animate dynamically, each one interacting with a neighbouring strand of hair as she pivots, while wind simulation has an impact too. The catch, however, is that the 60 FPS performance mode reverts to a simplified card system for each hair tuft, where the more complex strand physics model only re-engages for the hideout area and in cutscenes. And once again, Series S misses out on this feature entirely on its single mode. Series S runs with the basic hair setting, though strand physics do appear, of course, in pre-rendered cinematics.